We've seen our civilization in deadly peril. We owe it to our posterity. We owe it to our God to devote the rest of our lives and all of our capabilities to the building of a solid, durable structure of world peace.
On the 7th of May, 1945, Nazi Germany surrenders unconditionally to the Allied powers led by the United States and the Soviet Union. All of the Allies had paid a terrible price for their victory, none more than the Soviets, who had lost an estimated 20 million citizens in the war and the famines the war had caused. Only the United States escapes the war with its industrial and military power intact. And only the United States possesses the terrible power of atomic weapons. All of the Allies are committed to the idea that the horrors of war should never be repeated. In meetings in the Soviet city of Yalta before the end of the war and in the Berlin suburb of Potsdam after the German surrender, Allied leaders had begun to build what they hoped would be a lasting peace. But in the aftermath of victory, the different interests of the two superpowers emerge. The United States seeks to rebuild Europe as capitalist democracies and offers aid through the Marshall Plan to support that reconstruction. The Soviets are convinced that the capitalist nations are determined to encircle them and destroy communism altogether. They use the nations they occupy as a buffer between them and the West and turn the leadership of those nations over to communists who follow Moscow's orders. In 1946, British wartime leader Winston Churchill comes to the U.S. to tell us that our former Soviet allies have taken over the nations Americans thought they had freed.
From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an iron curtain has descended across the continent.
When the Soviets cancel elections in Poland and communists take over the governments of Eastern Europe, the fears of the West are confirmed. The communist-led insurgency attacking the pro-Western monarchy in Greece proves to the West that the Soviets are determined to spread their doctrine by force of arms. In response, President Harry Truman declares the U.S. will give money and weapons to governments threatened by communism.
The free peoples of the world look to us for support in maintaining their freedom. If we falter in our leadership, we may endanger the peace of the world.
With the aid of the U.S., the Greek government turns back the communist guerrillas. But in 1948, the first direct U.S.-Soviet confrontation occurs in Berlin, when the Soviets blockade the western sector of the city and the Allies are forced to airlift supplies to stranded West Berliners. The United States and the Soviet Union, once allies, have become adversaries, each convinced that the other poses an immediate threat. The Cold War has begun.